Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage. Welcome back to episode 26 of Europa Universalis IV as England, now Great Britain. Just before I start, just wanted to point something out very quickly because you might notice that everything looks a little bit different. There are lots of black lines all over the place. I'm actually running a couple of mods. I don't normally use mods in games, with the exception of Minecraft where I only play modded. Particularly strategy games. I certainly don't like mods that really change gameplay, but this is just a cosmetic mod, and there's actually two mods I'm using. Both mods that I first noticed when I Rumba started using them, and I thought I'd give them a bit of a go. So they're actually kind of both parts of the same mod. The first mod is called TBARW, which stands for thicker borders and recoloured water. So basically the water looks a slightly different colour, but most noticeably you will see that the borders between nations have this much thicker, darker line. It makes them much easier to spot. Especially when you're looking over here in the HRE where there's lots and lots of countries, it really makes it easier to pick out individual nations. And the borders between provinces are now represented by a dotted line. So I'm going to play with this for a while, see how it goes. This thick black border can sometimes make things a little bit tricky because there are some provinces where rivers run along borders, and it can make it a little bit difficult to see the actual river sometime if the border follows it completely. But I certainly think it helps to pick out countries more easily. The second mod is actually by the same author, and it's the thicker borders and recoloured water transparent map mode mod. And what that basically does, if we actually go now into our political map mode, you can actually see that if we zoom in now, you can actually see the terrain textures through the map mode. And I think that actually works on most of the map modes. It's not just the political one. If we go into... yeah, so if you go into any of the map modes, it's basically just put them on a transparency now. And I actually like that because when you actually look at the map in EU4, it's actually a very nice map. I mean, there's trees, there's marshes, there's mountains, there's hills. There's a lot of detail in the texture, but you never normally see it when you've got the political map mode on, which is what most people play the game in. So I'm going to leave it like this for a little bit. It can make it some of the colours seem a little bit more washed out because they're a little bit more sort of pastel colour, especially in areas that are very snowy. It also makes it very easier to see where there is snow now. You can see up here in Sweden, you can actually see where these harsh winters are. Well, that's a normal winter, but you can actually see where the snow is through the map mode. So that's actually quite useful. So I'm going to run with these mods for a little while. Technically, they're only compatible with version 1.12 of EU4, although because there isn't really much that's changed user interface wise between 1.12 and 1.13, I was able to get the mod working with it by just changing the value in the mod file to tell it worked with 1.13. So we'll play with it for a little while and see how things go on. So we're about to unpause the game. Now, the thing we've got going on at the moment is we are still in this this sort of disaster that we've got going on, which is the... I never find the right screen for this. It's the religious turmoil. So we need to get our religious unity up to 90%. Looks like the only chance we've got of something popping at the moment is the Burgundian separatists. Now, somebody did actually send me a message and ask me what the handle them button does, because I never really use that. So I did reply in comments, but I'll just click it and show you what you can do. So whenever you get rebels, you get the option to handle them. There's a handle them button beneath, and you'll get several different options that you can choose. So first of all, you can boost your stability from this screen, which of course reduces the national unrest. We're at max stability anyway, so that option is greyed out. We can use what's called harsh treatment, where we spend a number of military points to reduce the uprising progress by a certain percentage. Now, I think it does vary depending on the rebellion. So currently this rebellion is 50% of the way to popping. If we spent 50 military points, we would reduce it by 30, so it would set it back to 20. Can't get rid of it completely, you can just slow it down, and you're just basically wasting military points. The other option, of course, is you can try and send a missionary there or change their culture, because that might help. But obviously we don't have any missionaries to send, and it's not a Protestant province, which means we can't change the culture either. And the other option you have is to accept the demands. And if you accept the demands, it tells you exactly what you would get. So we'd lose 10 prestige, and we'd give Artois back to Burgundy, which we have no... we really don't want to do that. If they manage to siege a province, If they occupy a province on siege 1, it gains 10 years of separatism, and if we lose to them, then they enforce their demands, and we would cede our terroir to Burgundy anyway. So hitting the accept demand button basically just fires off what would happen if the rebels won. So the best thing to do most of the time is just let the rebels pop, because when they do pop, then the province actually gets a recent uprising modifier, which stops any further rebellions for a while. If we look at the unrest here, you can see that the recent uprising, which is right at the bottom, was just disappeared, but it was actually giving us -20 chance of another rebellion there. Cleves is entered into a coalition against us. It's understandable. We are likely to end up with a few coalitions. We do still want to try and bring France into the fold. Truce with the Hansa has ended. They'll probably join the coalition now. Now, Flanders has 0% liberty desire. France still has 32. I'd love them to change their religion, but I'm a little bit worried about doing it given the fact that it would put them really high up on liberty desire. So we can lose the stability or lose 25 legitimacy. Both are really bad. I think we'll take the stability hit in this case because our legitimacy is already quite low. Truce is that's the stability drop. Truce is expiring. Diplomatic relations are a -1 with Brittany. Can we break this royal marriage with them? Dynastic actions. If we were to break the royal ties, yeah, we would lose the stability. Yeah, we don't want to do that, really, so we will have to wait on it. Technology, we can grab another admin tech, and we will do that because that will put us back ahead of time, and that will give us the production efficiency bonus once more. I was hoping that we'd actually get a chance to go after Brittany at some point. Now, if I can't declare on Brittany straight away, could I declare on Brabant? Well, I could do, but Brabant are allied with Denmark and Brunswick and Lauenburg and Savoy, who I could probably deal with. But it seems like a lot of effort just to try and grab Brittany. So we still need to just go around and doing our conversions. We're running at speed 3. Provincial unrest, yeah, Artois still potentially going to pop. Of course, it won't be nearly as bad once we manage to get the religious unity thing sorted out. One of the following must be true. Religious unity at least 90%. Well, we're working towards that. And Great Britain is Protestant, so that's fine. So if we go and look at religion, we're currently at 74%. We're getting there. I mean, our missionaries are working quite slow at the moment, but they are making some difference. We're up to 97 church power, so we will get to choose our aspect of faith soon. I really don't know what we're going to pick. A loan is coming due. We can go ahead and do that. So, do we have any more loans? No, we're debt-free, so that's a start. Always a good start. Now, there's Brabant. Brabant are quite small. Who was in that alliance? Denmark? See, Denmark's potentially a problem. Savoy, not so much. Savoy's only got a couple of provinces. France can deal with them. Denmark could potentially be a problem, but again, Denmark's quite small as well. I think we could do that. The only problem is we don't actually have a CB on Brabant. We have a CB on Brabant. Interesting. But they would call on the coalition, so we can't actually do that anyway. Yeah, we'd be actually taking on the coalition if we did that. Haven't looked at the coalition map for a while. Let's just have a quick look there. Coalition. Yeah, so most of the northern HRE, so we probably don't want to go in there and grab some land. We are just going to have to wait for some of that to burn off. So that's a little bit of a shame. If we can't go to war, it might be worth actually trying to get France to... Oh, there we go. We can now pick an aspect of faith. I was just about to say, if we can't go to war, it might be worth trying to get France to convert their religion, because we will be annexing them soon. So let's have a look at the aspects of faith and what we can pick. So we can either have... And you can get a maximum of 3 of these. So we can have -5% to development cost, -10% to our stability modifier, +1% to missionary strength, +2.5% discipline, +5% morale of armies and morale of navies, +0.5 yearly prestige, yearly legitimacy, global settler increase, manpower recovery speed, and idea cost -5%. Production. There's so much nice stuff here. I mean, I'd like to grab some of the military ones as I'm not going as heavy on military ideas. Getting the manpower recovery speed is nice, but I think the morale of armies and the morale of navies could be quite useful. So could the discipline. There's so many things here that I'd like to get. I guess the discipline could really help if we end up having to go to war with France, which may well happen. But there again, so would the morale of armies and the morale of navies, because we are Britain, we do rely on our navies. I think I'm going to go for that one, an extra 5% morale on our armies and our navies, and we can still grab a couple more. So I think that's going to be okay. So what I'm going to do, because we are making money, and this might be a bit of a risk, I'm going to go to France, and I'm going to... Let's go in here. First of all, I'm going to support loyalists, which will reduce their liberty desire by 20%. They're now down to 12. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to get them to enforce their religion change. Now, that will give them high liberty desire, because that's instantly put them up to 62. Now, that doesn't instantaneously mean that they are going to declare war, because they've still got to sum up whether or not they think they could beat me in a fight. Would be nice if they did keep getting in some little fights themselves, because if they kept losing manpower or kept losing forces, that would make life a little bit easier. What I'm about to do, though, is I'm just going to start bringing some of the troops over. In fact, I'm going to bring all of the troops over from the British mainland, and that would just mean that if France does decide to declare on me, I've got all of my troops here ready to respond straight away. So that's what we're going for here. Did we not drop you guys off? That was the plan. Yeah, and we'll go and pick up the last group. I think we could easily beat France if we needed to. I hope we don't need to, but we'll see what happens. So there we go. We've got all of our troops over here now. I don't think we're going to get any pops go over here in Great Britain. But the thing that I want to know... See, the liberty desire is going down because it was at 50... It was at 60-something%. Yeah, events and province defections has now gone down to 49.6, so I do wonder if that number does actually tick down. What is it now? 49.6. Let's wait till the end of the month, see if it goes down again. There's the end of the month. 49.5. So it is actually going down. So in a year or so, we may actually get them down to sub 50%. We've managed to convert some heretics somewhere. Let's go ahead and do another conversion. We'll concentrate on doing the provinces that we can convert the quickest. And we'll also make sure that we are just improving relations with France as much as possible. Yeah, they feel disloyal towards us. They view us as an oppressive overlord. They are not likely to offer much help in wars. So if we do go to war, they will be called in, but they won't actually do anything to help. They'll mainly just sort of stand around and watch. But that's fine. I think all in all, we should be okay there. We will be able to integrate them at some point. In fact, I think we could integrate them now if we had our relations at 190%. Or 190, so that may be something that we go for. It looks like Liege has got some separatists up there. So again, I think the only rebel uprising that we're likely to get are these Burgundian ones. And I'm just going to leave it and allow it to pop, if indeed it does ever pop. It'll be easy enough to deal with. I'm not worried about that in the slightest. My only concern is France deciding that it may want to... attack me. They may go away, but we are forcing them now to change their religion. So if we actually look at France now, it should tell us that they are now indeed Protestant. So they should start trying to convert some of their provinces. And indeed, if we actually have a look, they do have a missionary here working to spread the Protestant faith in this province. So they are switching over to Protestant. You don't get the progress bar though, unfortunately. So you can't see how that's... oh, you can find out if you mouse over. There's no progress bar, but if you mouse over, you can actually see the missionary progress. So they are going to start flipping over provinces. If we have a look at the religious map mode, yeah, they've got a lot of work to do. But there are some centres of reformation up here, so it is going to help things spread. I'm just hoping that high liberty desire goes away. It's down to 54%. So it is getting less and less. As you can see, that the events and province defections is going down. But of course their opinion of us is as well. Can we field a higher force limit? No, we are right at our force limit. We're still over our naval force limit as well. We can actually improve that. We're not making much money, are we? Just noticed. Let's just go and have a look there. Economy, yeah, we're barely making anything. We're going to go ahead and put our army maintenance down, and we get a call to arms instantly. That's brilliant. Austria wants us to come to their aid against Switzerland. Switzerland is allied with Burgundy, Lorraine, and Memmingen. Well, we're going to accept, and we're going to instantly put our flipping army maintenance back up to full, which is annoying. So we're not making an awful lot of money. I was just about... Let's reduce our... Actually, let's raise war taxes. We'll spend some military power, raise war taxes. That'll give us a bit of extra money coming in. And we are slightly over our force limit. So, our naval force limit. What I wanted to do is actually go ahead and... do you know what? I'm going to do this. It'll just make life easier. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take out a loan. Recall our diplomat from France. So we've gone and grabbed a loan. And then I'm going to build a building. And if we look at Navy, we can build a dock, which will increase our naval force limit by 2. Now, where can we build a fair few buildings? Let's go ahead and build it in Kent. We keep most of our stuff down there. So that'll increase our naval force limit, and then we won't have to worry too much about everything being quite so expensive. We've got a Burgundian army over here. Not sure if France are going to go and attack them. I mean, I do want to help out in this war. But I don't want to end up losing a lot of manpower and weakening my forces, because that might give France the excuse they want to declare on me. So, Reformer seeks safe haven. Fearing for his safety, one of the great theologians of our age has had to leave his homeland. As Protestant country, it is our duty to offer a safe haven to this man, and doing so would undoubtedly strengthen the position of our state church, at least as long as the Reformer agrees with our policies. So, if we turn him away, we just lose 20 church power. And Cologne's opinion of us increases by 25. Well, I don't give two craps about Cologne. Or I can gain 20 church power, and we will gain yearly prestige and plus 15% church power for 20 years. And Cologne throws a wobbly. Yeah, well, screw you, Cologne. Right, so what I want to see here... France is going to engage. Good. If France is going to engage, I won't bother, because that way I won't end up losing troops. France should have this. I'm actually going to reinforce just to help them out. I'll be on the flanks. In fact, there's a few people going in there to help, but it is woods. And I think France is struggling. So I've got a few men in the front there, but most of my men are on the flanks, and we won that war. So what I'm going to do is just bring my men back to our own provinces. Remember, I'm doing this because I don't want... obviously, I don't want us to lose this war, but at the same time, I don't want to lose a lot of men. It's better for me if France actually lose men, because that will change the swing of relative power, and changing the swing of relative power will mean that they'll have less liberty desire. What have we got here? We can lose 5 prestige for a chance of gaining some power, or we can lose one of our advisors. Prestige. Well, we don't have an awful lot of it. But power is nice. And we got admin power as well, which is the one that we were short of. Idea groups. Right, we've got a lot of stuff firing off here all at the same time. The next idea group we can take is a trade idea, which would give us some trade steering. Now, we are well ahead of time in terms of Diplo. So I think grabbing that is quite good. And we can get these trade ideas finished off next with some extra caravan power and an extra merchant. So, Anne Boleyn. The breaking of the Catholic Church began when King Henry VIII's desire to marry Anne Boleyn and the Pope's refusal to annul his previous marriage to Queen Catherine. Anne had refused to become the King's mistress and told him that the only way she would yield to his embraces was if he married her. The leader of the English Reformation, the Archbishop of Canterbury, Thomas Cranmer, declared Henry and Catherine's marriage null and void, then declared Henry and Anne's marriage to be good and valid. The Pope immediately decreed sentences of excommunication against Henry and Cranmer. This resulted in a break between the Church of England and Rome. The Church of England was brought under the King's control, and Anne became pregnant quickly, and the future Queen Elizabeth I was born on the 7th of September 1533. So we're not too bad then, we're only about a year out. Disappointed in the gender of the child and the 3 miscarriages that followed, Henry started courting Jane Seymour in order to get rid of his wife. He charged Anne with adultery, incest and witchcraft and sent her to the Tower of London, where she awaits trial. So we can either save her and make her an advisor. We gain a 2-skill statesman, and this advisor is 50% cheaper for your country to employ. Or we can, so it's 10 prestige, Or a skill 2 statesman for half price. I'm not really bothered in changing my advisors, so let's go ahead and just take the prestige, because we're losing quite a lot of that. So there's quite a few people involved in this war on our side. I guess what I could do is put my military maintenance down a little bit. I wouldn't want to put it down too much, because of course there are enemy armies around. Although there's nothing stopping us actually going in and sieging out a couple of provinces up here. Burgundy's not the war goal, but sieging them out is going to help all in all. So let's go ahead and do that. So we will get quite a lot of attrition here. Got to be careful. I'm just going to grab these easy provinces where there aren't any forts. Yeah, Burgundy have managed to take that one back. So we're just gaining control of provinces here. There we go, we've managed to change another faith, so let's go ahead and work on the next one. Religious unity is 80%, we're getting there. We've managed to grab that one, let's go in and grab Luxembourg. I don't think that Burgundy have any or many forts around now, so they're going to be a little bit screwed here. Most of these provinces we're just going to grab in a single tick, so we don't have to worry too much about standing around. We do have to worry about enemy armies. But Austria and Hungary are coming in, so I think they can deal with those. So I'm just going to move everybody down and just try and siege out as much of Burgundy as possible. They do have Nevers down there, of course. Wow, gain 4,000 manpower. That's always good. I don't feel quite so bad about the attrition now. Right, some of the religions are actually starting to change automatically, which is very good. Okay, military alliances. Let's get you down into Nevers. I might actually grab Nevers and turn it over to France. Or maybe French Comté, I don't know. We might grab something and turn it over to France. Just because if we can do that... If France can grab some... France got a claim on anything. That's the important thing here, isn't it? Let's go have a look at this and click on France. Do you have... Right, France don't actually have claims on anything. Because I was thinking maybe we could just turn that over to France if we capture it, and then maybe it'll be given to them in a war. I mean, we could peace out separately. But I don't think we want to. We've got a lot of aggressive expansion as is. But I might flip the occupation over to France, and France may get given it in the war. But this is probably a good point to end the video. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you are still enjoying EU4 as England or Great Britain, and I will see you next time. Until then, goodbye for now.